Karnik, Mrs. Karnik, Mr. Justice Deshpande, Mrs. Deshpande, Mr. Justice Menezes, my senior colleagues and respected members of the bar. Some of us may be under the misconception that this function is a farewell to Mr. Justice Sonak. It is not so, and it could not be so. Mr. Justice Sonak is still an active and a balanced senior judge, a judge who would oversee us from Mumbai as today. He is amongst the 6 senior-most judges of the August Bombay High Court. The Goa High Court Bar Association decided to hold this dinner for you, sir, notwithstanding your reluctance to accept the invitation, just to acknowledge your contribution to the Goa state, the Goa judiciary, the Goa bar, and to the Goa litigant. My association with you, sir, if you recollect, has been from the time you joined the bar as a young junior in the chamber of Mr. Justice Rubello, as he then was. As a junior, what I noticed in you was that you were humble, respectful, and would be concise in your submissions in court, restricted to your brief. I have never seen you in an argument being offensive to your opponents or your colleagues or aggressive with the court. The other quality which I always noticed in you, sir, was that you would not waste your time in court. Senior advocates at that time used to carry law reports, bulky books, which they would keep on the tables in court in order to cite. You would take those books and look at the important rulings and note them in your book. Am I right, Justice Sonak? Which was an exception to the rule as far as juniors were concerned. In 2013, you were elevated to the bench, and you also carried along with you the various qualities, the vast and sound legal baggage, which you gathered from your hard work. I must thank you, sir, for having continued in Goa from 2019 till circumstances compelled you to shift sitting to Mumbai to continue to adhere to the principles of the Bangalore Draft Code of the Judicial Conduct 2001 on strengthening judicial integrity. As a fact, sir, you encompass all the qualities which should reside in a judge for following the Code of Judicial Conduct 2001. You have always ensured that your conduct was above reproach in the view of a reasonable observer, which reaffirms people's faith in the integrity of the judiciary, and every litigant here carried the impression that justice was not merely done, but seemed to be done. The matters which you conducted here were conducted with propriety, and you also ensured that the principles of equality, applying the principle that a judge shall be aware and understand diversity in the society from differences in various sources. You, sir, always demonstrated competence and diligence while discharging your judicial duties. One need not cite instances or enumerate them to outline these qualities of yours. But I must add and say that while you sat in Goa, you were instrumental in deciding about 8,385 matters, out of which 7,704 civil cases and 681 criminal cases. This is the data I gathered to really assess whether my judgment about you was correct or not. I think you deserve a big hand of applause from all of us. Another aspect which I must congratulate you for, sir, was that you never kept judgments pending. You heard a matter and decided. Though at times you disappointed us when you reserved the judgment, sometimes we felt that you were with us and we were going to deliver a judgment in our favor. But the judgments one delivered was against us. But at the end of the day, reading the judgment, one would come to a conclusion that justice was done to a matter and you acted within the principles of impartiality. Goa must congratulate you, sir, for the fact that you cared for the environment and you demonstrated a deep love for Goa in your judgments and orders in environment matters. No matter whether they were drastic or not, but a reading of those judgments and orders would show that you kept Article 21 of the Constitution in mind while interpreting and applying the law to protect the environment. Congratulations to you, sir, for that. Though I may add and say that at times I have been a casualty to your orders, but I must say that they were in the right earnest. As administrative judge of the High Court here, I cannot forget to reckon the fact that you were instrumental in the speedy completion of the High Court building. You took a keen interest and coordinated with the authorities to see to it that notwithstanding pandemic, that the High Court building would be inaugurated even during COVID time. The same credit goes to you, sir, in the completion of the Panjim Court complex. I am sure that you will honor us with your presence for the inauguration of the said complex. I had a close interaction with you, sir, to judge your administrative capabilities during the last 3 years. I must say that whatever difficulties we had on the administrative and judicial side, you always were prompt and keen in solving them. To your credit goes the inclusion of some of our senior advocates as members of the arbitral panel of the High Court. Now that all the judges are here, I request them that they give effect to it by appointing them as suggesting their names for appointment of arbitrators under Section 11 of the Act, just as they are appointed conciliators. Pardon me for my request, sir. Though I am not in the panel, I am a member of the fraternity. Sir, I have not added any idioms or quotable quotes or as similes to your capabilities, as you yourself, as a judge, are a quotable quote. Sir, if I go on and on, the remaining time of this evening will not be enough. So I end here with a thank you to you, sir, from all the members of the bar for your example to give representation to this state. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. May I now request Honorable Justice Sri Mahesh Sonak kindly address the bar. Please maintain silence. Thank you.
Dear Makaran, Rupali, Bharat, Swati, Valmiki, and my own Sangeeta. Mr. President and the members of the bar, thank you for this kind gesture. Thank you very much. You cannot imagine how humbled I am by this. To some extent, I was preparing myself for not bothering about any external validation and all that stuff. But deep down, I would have perfectly understood. My temper and temperament left much to be desired, and those black marks did not deserve any grace from anyone. The fact that you were collectively able to look beyond these black marks is your triumph, your goodness, and your infinite grace. Thank you very much. Believe me, friends, I often introspected why my temper or temperament eluded me in Goa, particularly because this was not a very significant issue during my tenure outside Goa. I go back to Aristotle, who explained that not all anger is bad. We praise a person who gets angry on the right grounds, against the right person, in the right manner, at the right moment, and for the right length of time. Unfortunately, there are too many rights in that quote. Certainly something that I could never ever manage. I would sometimes apportion the blame to the daily doses of stress, provocations, and many such frustrations which are inherent to a judge's working day. I regarded that my intentions were good and thought that that was a good enough justification. But I think it was the great Samuel Johnson who said that the road to hell is paved with good intentions. The more I thought, the more I realized that all these were excuses and some kind of invalid justifications. Friends, we are all very good lawyers for our own mistakes and very good judges for the mistakes of others. So many of my past as well as present brethren have successfully navigated the same path with so much grace and patience. My esteemed senior, Chief Justice Rebello, set such a wonderful example. His intelligence, studiousness, industry, fairness, fearlessness, and grace under pressure were all without any corresponding loss of temper or compromise with his ever-even temperament. I learned a lot from him in multiple areas and I am truly beholden to him. But I regret my failure to learn from him in this critical area. Therefore, to my own juniors who are present over here and to the number of junior members of the bar, I request you not to look to me as an example, but to look to me as a warning or some sort of a caveat. But your gesture of inviting me here today shows the largeness of your collective heart, your deep sense of understanding of humankind's frailties, and above all, that you care for this institution. This institution is far greater than the sum of individuals like me who are fleetingly and momentarily a part of it for some time. This institution is not about judges and lawyers alone. This institution is about our collective resolve to serve we the people who have constituted us. This institution is about faithfully and fearlessly serving, striving to discharge our separate but significant roles that the Constitution has entrusted to us. If either of us falter, our institution will be much poorer. So neither of us can afford to flag or fail. As I have often said, no river, just as no river can rise above its source, so also no judge can ever rise above the metal of the bar that produces him or her. This is because the bar is always the judge's intellectual, moral, and spiritual mentor. The bar may not be responsible for the inherent nature of a judge, but as years go by, the bar nurtures a judge. The unending debate between nature and nurture can never be confined to a straitjacket. The judge most often reflects the study, the research, the courage, the forthrightness, and the integrity of the bar. Despite your gracious gesture today, I leave with a heavy heart, knowing that I have failed you in certain crucial aspects. The issues of temper and temperament and impatience should never accompany a judge on the days. Even the black coats and gowns that we wear can not hide these black marks. I cannot change the past, but I can express my deep and unconditional remorse. I have privately expressed this to some of you, but I felt it necessary to publicly acknowledge my mistakes on these fronts. I am grateful for this opportunity to do so. As your president has said, that this is not a farewell, and I endorse, but for a slightly different reason. I do not regard this function as some sort of a farewell. Rather, to me, it resembles the reenactment of the parable of the prodigal son's return. In this biblical parable, the prodigal son, who has grievously erred in his relations with his family is welcomed back. The family holds a feast, not in his honor, but most likely to celebrate their power of forgiveness and infinite grace. This parable teaches us that we can only be found when we acknowledge our own lostness. The way home is a part of the mystery of human life. It is most often long and a painful journey. Not many are allowed to return home or to say sorry and experience the grace. You have been gracious to me and you have given me this chance. At such a moment, all that I can say, and I do say, is a sincere sorry and a sincere thank you. I do this with all my heart and without any reservations. All that I can say is that as judges, we deserve no praise for doing what we ought to do. Because this is our duty to do what we do. Justice Oliver Wendell Holmes once explained that the trouble with most of us is that we would rather be ruined by praise than be saved by criticism. Therefore, though your President's kind words reflect the collective generosity of your mind and your grace, it would be a folly on my part to accept the praise by ignoring the proper context. Whether I did my duty as a judge or not is for the bar and for the people to say. But telling a judge whether he has done well or not is not as important as telling a judge, or rather goading a judge, to stay on the path of rectitude. This is the basic non-negotiable minimum insofar as these matters go. It is ultimately the responsibility of the bar and the people to see that no public functionaries go astray. For this, you must speak, and speak loudly and clearly. You must be forthright and speak without any fear. Dr. Martin Luther King reminded us that in the end, we will remember not the words of our enemies, but the silence of our friends. There comes a time when silence itself is a betrayal. And the irrepressible Mark Twain once remarked that in America, we have those three unspeakably precious things: freedom of speech, freedom of conscience, and the prudence to practice neither of them. Let us dare to be different in India. In our public life, our constitution must be our pole star. None of us can allow this pole star's basic structure and stability to sway with the winds. Let us therefore be true to our constitution. I can never forget how this bar stood up for me when there was an unwarranted attack on me some years ago. I did not have to ask any member of the bar or your bar association to do what they did to support me. Your reaction was spontaneous, born out of concern, not so much for me, but for our institution. Any unwarranted physical or mental assault on a lawyer or a judge is an attack on the institution, an attack on the independence of our institution. This independence is not for the protection of lawyers or judges. The independence protects we the people, who are the true sovereigns in a democracy. Without an independent judiciary, the people would be much poorer and much more vulnerable. So the people have entrusted us with the duty to patrol the Constitution's boundaries. This the judiciary cannot do without the support of the bar. We should therefore be collectively accountable to the people and to the people's Constitution. Friends, now that my tenure in Goa has ended, I can tell you that despite my shortcomings, I tried my best. This certainly does not mean that nothing better could have been done. That would be far too conceited a thing to say. This only means that this was my ability, after subtracting my disabilities and shortcomings, and this is what I could reasonably deliver. The little that I tried to do would not have been possible without the unflinching support of my wife Sangeeta, my support staff at the High Court, and above all, the members of the bar. Sadly, you are the three who bore the maximum brunt of my failings of temper and temperament. It is one of the unfortunate laws of life that you always take for granted your nearest and dearest ones. Perhaps you have some inherent confidence that they are the ones who will understand you, or at least not misunderstand you terribly. Again, to all three of you, I offer a sincere apology and an equally sincere thank you. This tenure is like a relay run, though not a relay race. There is no sense of any unfinished business on your mind in such a situation. There is just the sense that you have done your part to the best of your ability. This is a team sport, not some individual event. Now it is the time to pass on the baton. You take the baton from a whole range of judges before you. You run your stretch to the best of your ability. You hope and you pray that you don't drop the baton, or more importantly, you don't sully or stain this baton. And then you pass it on to judges who follow. The hope is that you will follow it to someone who will run faster and a better marathon. I leave satisfied with the confidence that I am passing on the baton to more competent hands. Brother Bharat has 3 times more judicial experience than I could ever aspire to. He is, as you all know, extremely hardworking and conscientious. My oft-expressed regret is the shortness of his tenure. Brother Valmiki's liberal outlook, innate sense of fairness, intelligence and strong fundamentals are what the Goa Bar can always be proud of. Again, when it comes to relays and marathons, or sailboat picnics and troubled waters, you will all agree with me, John particularly, that we could have never found, or we could have never had a better choice than Valmiki right from our early practice days. I will always be very, very proud of the privilege of working with Bharat and Valmiki. I am extremely happy that Makarand has now joined us. Makarand's intelligence and competence are packaged in sport and humor. He is, fortunately for you, blessed with an excellent temperament. This is how it should be, and I join you all in re-welcoming dear Makarand to Goa. Makarand, welcome. The 3 of them will surely run a faster and a better marathon. Shortly, I hope and pray that we get some more members to strengthen this team. To the members of the bar, I must say that I am extremely proud and honored to have worked with you for the past over 35 years. It is with you that my joys and sorrows, ups and downs have been inextricably interlinked. To each of you present here today, and to those of you who could not remain present here today, Sangeeta and I convey our gratitude and best wishes. You all have an extremely bright future. You all have the potential to reaffirm the impression of the excellence of the Goa Bar. The quality of the Goa Bar is exceptional and on the rise. But you all still have a greater potential that remains to be tapped. Along with the quality, the number of your members must also increase. The Goa Bar is really at the top, and as you all know, there is always room at the top. Before I conclude, I must compliment Mr. Pereira, your president, for the quantity and quality of activities during his tenure. This has been truly amazing, and Mr. Pereira, you and your youthful team deserve kudos. You have broken the previous records and set a very, very high benchmark. Thank you for this. I am tempted to say many excellent things about Mr. Pereira's presidency, but I was informed that the bar elections are around the corner, so I will refrain rather than be accused of some breach of a code of conduct. But to Mr. Pereira's youthful team and the young members of the bar, I must remind you that when you are young, you are idealists and you want to change the world. That is how it should be. But when you grow up old like me, all you want to change is the youth or the young. This is most often the case. So my advice to you is, never grow up. Always remember that while growing old is mandatory, growing up is always optional or a discretion. Like the Nobel laureate Bob Dylan's immortal song, "May you forever stay young. May you grow to be righteous. May you grow to be true. May you always know the truth and see the light surrounding you. May you always be courageous, stand upright and strong. May you stay forever young." Friends, once again, to all of you, thank you very much and my very best wishes for an excellent future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. All of us here wish you and your family the best always in life and the greatest of success. Well, friends, the association has been trying to do a lot of events year after year, month after month. Just to make a small announcement, the judicial exams are coming up somewhere in the month of July, I'm told, for the appointments to the JMFC and the senior division judges post. Can I have your attention just for a minute? Then you are free to be in your spirits. The exams to the post of the JMFCs and the junior senior divisions are somewhere scheduled in the mid of July. So just spread the word around. The High Court Bar Association will be conducting training program on the 22nd and 23rd of June, where retired district judges and present judges who are at the JMFC and senior division will be conducting 2-day session training program of how to answer judicial exams and what is expected from you when you attend these judicial exams. So please spread the word that this event will be conducted on 22nd and 23rd July. And also we are all aware that the new CRPC, IPC and Evidence Act will be coming into effect soon. So in the month of July we will also be having training program or coordination program where we will have speakers to address the members of the bar on this new laws which are going to be implemented. Thank you so much. Enjoy your evening. Be in the best of spirits.